Hello, doctor. Today I want to talk about the importance of post-op calls. I know that's not really high on every doctor's list of fun things to do, but it is important, and I want to talk about why it's important and how we do it, how we see it being done successfully. First is the importance of the post-op call. I think about post-op calls like one, it's good customer service, right? So good Yelp reviews, patient wants to come back and see you, kind of gets your name out there in a good light. It means a lot to the patient actually when the doctor himself or herself calls the patient. It means a lot to the patient, as opposed to having a staff member do it. It really makes a huge difference. And I know this because sitting in the front office, having conversations with the patients, they'll actually, that's one of the things that they'll say. Oh my gosh, the doctor called me, right? Like the doctor actually, called me on my own, personal cell phone and made sure that I was doing okay. It means a lot to them, and so that customer service piece is extremely important. The second piece that's also important is I call diffusing the bomb, right? And so sometimes when we do procedures on patients, not everything goes right, or they might just think that something is wrong. For example, you guys know there's a little tiny bit of blood mixed with saliva, looks like a lot of blood, right? And so sometimes they freak out in, say, an extraction case or something like that. Giving the patient a call and checking in on them, reassuring them that everything is okay, or telling them, hey, come back in, or I'll see you tomorrow, those types of things, it goes a long way to making sure that the patient does not then go onto Google, go onto Yelp, say something bad on Yelp. Oh my gosh, again, it's been 3 days, I'm still bleeding. The doc, nobody cares, right? I tried calling them, and the person in the call center wasn't able to help me, and now the doctor's gone. All of the things that could happen can easily be avoided, but just by giving the patient a quick post-op call after their procedure, to make sure that everything is okay. So again, massive impact on customer service. As a matter of fact, I would say it's the number one thing that doctors can do customer service wise. The easiest, biggest bang for the buck, let me put it that way. The biggest bang for the buck is, what does it take to call? 30 seconds, because usually you're leaving a message. Biggest bang for the buck as far as customer service and getting the patient to like the doctor and want to come back to the doctor, refer their friends and family to the doctor, is the post-op call. And then diffusing those bombs, right? So when things happen and we avoid them, we know what happens. We get the letter from the lawyer, or we get the request for the refund, or we get the 1-star Yelp review, those type of things. And so reaching out right away, making sure that we're cutting those things off in the past and just kind of handling what are typically small problems, right? By getting them handled right away really helps to alleviate those types of concerns. A way to like really hate post-op calls is have a day full of seeing patients and then wait until the very end, right around 7:15, 7:30, when you're tired and want to go home, and then go and make all of your post-op calls. Like that is a recipe for disaster. It's pure torture to do that, And here at Gold Coast Dental, any patient that gets a needle should get a phone call, right? Any patient that gets a needle gets a phone call. So if they're in for a quick PO check, no need for a PO call. There's if they're coming in for like a quick ortho adjustment, if they're coming in for, anything that doesn't require a needle, the cleaning even, no call required. But anytime that a patient gets a needle, that patient should get a phone call. But what I like to do is just have some times blocked off, or like in your mind, in your day, every few hours, to then go back and call the patients that were in, right? If I'm working and I start at 7 a.m. and I'm working through, maybe like around 11 or 12, I'll start calling those 7, 8, and 9 a.m. patients just to check in on them, right? And then in the early afternoon, like 3 or 4 o'clock, I'm going to call all the patients from like 11, 12, 1, 2, in that range. And then at the end of the day, I only have a few hours worth of patients to call. So I might have to call like 3, 4, 5 patients at the end of the day. But that is a world of difference than 15 patients, having to pound through 15 patient phone calls, right? And so getting it, slotting it in and getting it done throughout the day. Obviously, you don't want to call the patients if they just walked out the door and they're like still sitting in the parking lot. That's a little too early. But certainly like an hour to 2 hours after the end of the appointment time, totally appropriate to give the patient a call, check in on them, see how they're doing, make sure everything is going okay. It's going to give them the warm fuzzies. And if there is any problem, we're able to solve it quickly. Could be something like the pharmacy, the medication didn't get called into the pharmacy correctly, or something else happened. We're able to just like kind of nip those problems in the bud before they become, before they irritate the patient too much. So making those PO calls, and again, making them throughout the day, extremely important to do, and provides great customer service for our patients. Thank you very much.